Mantella Autosport, a Toronto-based race team that runs two Camaro Z28.Rs in the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge Series, is run by one of the coolest dudes we know, Anthony Mantella, and crewed by some very close friends of ours. So we took a break from wrenching on our own cars to have a chat with Anthony about what makes these particular Camaros so special. We are here with Anthony from Mantella Autosport to check out their Z28.R. This races in the IMSA GS class. But before we talk about the car, Anthony, I want you to tell us a little bit about why you decided to make the shift from those sexy Aston Martins to, not that this is an unattractive car, but you got to admit those Astons were pretty darn sexy.
Yeah, they're damn sexy. Not to take anything away from the Aston brand, it's just, you can only, Kevin Buckler is a great guy. Just couldn't do everything, and no hard feelings.
Yeah.
Just when you're passionate about racing and the racing money is coming out of your pocket.
Yeah.
You got to have a car that is competitive and that's on track all the time.
Well supported, eh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right.
So you made the move to the Z28.R.
Yeah.
You've got two of them. This is the car you drive.
It is.
And Martin is the lead driver on the other car?
That's right.
So can you tell us a little bit about how these cars came from? They came from Pratt & Miller? Is that where they came from?
These are factory Chevrolet race cars built by Pratt & Miller.
Right.
Yeah, they are not backyard home-built cars.
No.
These are the real deal.
Okay.
There's four of them in the world. Stevenson, our competitors, teammates, have the other two.
Okay.
And we have the other two that were made by Pratt.
And these were run last year by
CKS. Yeah.
Okay, so you bought them from CKS.
That's right.
Gotcha. So can you tell us a little bit, while we're in the engine bay, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what differs here compared to a regular Z28?
Sure. Strut towers are reinforced.
Right. And they've obviously got a camber or caster plate in there.
That's right.
Which lets you do some fun stuff.
Yeah. We've got increased cooling with a little bigger rad.
Yeah.
We've got a few things that are different, but by and large, it's pretty stock. We've got some more support up here.
Yeah.
Different airbox that's been homologated by the series for this car.
Okay.
But by and large, other than the roll cage, it's very stock.
Right. The engine is internally stock. It is. The standard LS7?
It is.
So it's rated at
505 horsepower. Yeah.
Okay.
Very reliable. We've yet to have any problems with the motors that we've been running.
Awesome. And they're limited revs the same as a street car as well, or do they rev a little more?
These actually rev less.
Okay.
The red line on this engine is, I believe it's 7,200.
Okay.
And we're at 6,400.
Oh wow.
We're limited, yes, by the balance of performance in IMSA.
Yeah.
We're limited in RPM.
Okay.
And we also have a restrictor installed.
That's this aluminum.
That's right.
Here.
It limits the amount of air that the engine will ingest.
So the factory throttle body is like 90 mil, and you're going down to 60 mil or something like that?
Correct. It's somewhere around that with the 90 mil, yeah.
Wow, that's a big step down, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the cars are fast, and that's what IMSA does. That's their job. They limit the speed of the car to make it even, so that all different manufacturers can race.
Sure, it's a challenge. I'm sure it's not easy. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes.
Yeah.
And what about the gearbox? Is the gearbox stock, or is that different?
It's a stock case. It's modified by Tranzilla.
Oh right, I remember seeing those on the bench before.
Yeah.
So what do they do to them?
Homologated carbon fiber synchros in them, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
They work awesome. It's probably the nicest shifting gearbox that I've ever driven.
It's a nice V8 gearbox, isn't it? It's the TR6060, I think.
Right.
With carbon synchros, which make it even slicker. Is that what they do for you?
Yeah, it's a dream, to drive. Yeah, very durable.
Yeah, I was really impressed by the gearbox in the ZL1, which I think is the same gearbox.
Right.
So, what about the suspension? Under here, you've got what sort of dampers are they?
We're running Penske's.
Penske's, okay.
Yeah. And Andrew custom valves them after every race, dyno tests them.
Wow,
make sure
every race?
Yeah, after every race they're done and gone over, and it's quite involved. He thinks about it for quite some time before he makes a change to those dampers before we're going to a new track.
So he'll actually custom valve them for each track?
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
doesn't exactly look stock in here. Do you maybe want to walk us through all of the cool doodads in here? I mean, obviously this is for your cool suit.
Driver aid, yep.
So that gets filled with ice or ice water. Is it just straight ice?
We put only enough water in that cool box so that it'll circulate water.
Okay.
And then what we do is we have blocks of ice that we sandwich in there so they don't move.
Okay.
And the blocks last a lot longer than the chips or the cubes.
Okay.
And basically for the first 20 minutes, we're basically running on just the water that we put in there.
Okay.
And as the race goes on, of course it's 120, 130 degrees in the car. Even though that is a cooler, and our body heat will really accentuate the melting process.
Right.
And by the time Mark gets out of the car after 2.5 hours, it's all water.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So there's a hose that goes from his into your shirt.
That's
and
right.
The shirt has like a hose system in it.
That's right.
And just the circulation of that cooled water cools your body down.
It's actually a really simple design. There's a bilge pump in there from a boat, small one.
Yeah.
And we have a switch on the dash that is programmed into the PDM, and it'll actually pulse. So we'll get water every 10 seconds going through the shirt, and that'll prolong the ice as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's very sophisticated.
It is. It is. But the biggest thing is that the driver's comfortable.
Yeah.
You can, in Porsche Cup, when I raced in Porsche Cup, we really had nothing. We had a smaller cool suit box, and there's a lot of surface area to me.
Yeah.
And it would melt really rapidly. So we have this, and we also have a air conditioner for the helmet.
So it's a fan? How does that work?
It's a really special device. I don't know how it exactly works, but there is no Freon. You just basically hook 12 volts up to it, and there's some kind of a process that goes on with that box, and we get cold air filtered into the helmet.
Really?
It filters out CO2.
Okay.
So there's actually an inline charcoal filter.
Awesome.
Because places like Daytona, it's like a big bowl, and the
Yeah.
exhaust gas just sits in the bottom of it.
Right.
So we've almost entirely eliminated that aspect of it. So no more headaches after.
So there's a hose that goes into the front of the helmet?
It's either a top mount or a side mount.
Okay.
And yeah, it works really well.
And obviously in front of the box, we've got all of your engine control modules.
Right.
There's the main ECU, which is a Bosch. Then you've got your Motec box, which I think Andrew was saying talks to the dash and
That's
does
right.
your data acquisition.
Right. Yeah.
That Delphi unit, is that?
That is the link to IMSA. That is that's basically to turn on the yellow light when there's a yellow flag, and just so that IMSA has all the information on what the car's doing, where it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a yellow light in the car?
I do.
Oh, I didn't
As
know.
soon as there's a caution or something happening on track, the yellow light on the dash just beside the
I see it there on the other
display,
side. Yeah. Okay.
will flash.
That's awesome. I didn't know that was a part of the series now.
Right.
No traction control system though?
No.
So that's all your right foot?
That's right. That's right. But we do have, what we've done, because we're not allowed traction controls, is the computer will monitor the slip, the ratio between the front wheels and the back wheels. And if there's an excess of slip in the back, then the display will tell us. And what they've done is they've displayed it in one light increments. So one light, it's not so bad.
A little bit of slip.
Yeah. 2 lights, maybe you want to think about taking your foot out of it.
Okay.
3 lights, you're cooking the tires.
Right.
So it's a great driver aid.
Do all the cars have that, or is that something you guys?
No, something that Andrew and Sasha have developed in this car, because it's a very, very heavy car, very small tire on this car. The tire does not like to be overheated, so we had to come up with a legal way of mitigating the temperature in the car. And I've only been driving race cars for 4 years, and tend to be a pretty aggressive driver.
Okay.
So it's with all the horsepower and torque that this car makes, it's real easy to overwhelm the tires, especially if it's a real hot day.
Yeah. And the tires it looks like they're 275s all around?
They are, yeah.
On an 18 by 10 or something like that?
That's correct.
And I was intrigued to see you've got a little display dash there, like a video screen.
Yeah, watch cartoons.
Yeah, I was going to say, a little Tom and Jerry while you're racing.
No, backup camera. What that primarily is for in race. When somebody's somebody's on you, you know, and it's a blind spot or something like that, and you can't find them, it's a great device.
And this car, obviously being as big as it is, probably has significant blind spots.
It does. The slope of the rear glass in the car, on certain days, really there's a reflection in the back, and some days it renders the back glass useless. So you're running with your mirrors and that backup camera.
Okay,
so
that makes
worth it.
You've got obviously a Motec dash there that shows you your usual speed, RPM
warnings.
Warnings. Okay.
Yeah, it is the brain. It's so handy. If anything goes wrong with the car, high temperature, a fan. The last test out at Watkins Glen, the fan stopped working. We had a little bit of debris get caught in the fan.
Wow.
And the dash lit up, red lights, and radioed into Andrew, came into the pits immediately. And sure enough, there was some debris in the fan.
Just like tire debris, or?
It was a piece of plastic, actually.
Really?
Yeah. And it notified me immediately, so it probably saved the engine, saved the car from overheating.
Wow, it paid for itself on that.
Absolutely.
Crazy. And it's a Race Tech seat you've got in there?
It is.
Is that just your preference as far as comfort goes?
Well, it actually fit us the best.
Okay.
You know, we custom molded some foam into them. Mark has an insert that slips into my insert.
Yeah.
And so they're molded to our body.
So you're saying Mark is less man than you? Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that he has a smaller bum than I do.
Fair enough. So do you want to run us through all the buttons on the steering wheel here?
Sure. This talk button, that's to communicate back to the pit wall. We've got the pit speed here. The light illuminates, second gear, foot to the floor, 60 miles, actually 58 miles an hour. So we're just a little under, just in case there's a little nuance, we don't get a penalty.
Right.
Map button, dial, that's fuel conservation if we need it. It changes the ignition timing.
Okay.
This scrolls for the page on the dash in case we want to look at something different.
That's
you can scroll through.
Page, right?
Yeah, that's not on the front page. Drink button. So this goes to a secondary cooler on the floor of the passenger side, and a straw will that goes up to your helmet, and you can drink. And this is our fuel reset. So when after we do a pit stop and we have a full load of fuel, Andrew will say at a certain time on the track, okay, fuel reset. We verify that by holding this button, and we get a flash of light on the dash saying yes, it's reset.
So one of the cool things about the Z28, to me at least, is the aero that comes on it. This is the factory spoiler?
This is the street car spoiler, yeah. This spoiler was developed for the race car and is on the Z28 that's on the streets.
And the same with the splitter, that's a factory splitter.
That's correct, yeah.
So is there any other aero mods done to the car that are specific to the series, or?
No. This car is, the aero that's on this car is on the street car.
And is that typical of all the cars in GS class? No, some of them are allowed aero?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's just a balance of performance thing?
That's right.
Gotcha, okay. And the exhaust, that's obviously from...
MBRP. Yeah, Martin designed the exhaust systems for these cars, and I mean, we haven't had a failure. We take a look at the exhaust every time after we race, and they're flawless.
And he built them specifically for the race car?
He designed them, yeah. He, of course, being a big aftermarket exhaust manufacturer, he had all the programs to figure out flow and size and where everything needed to be.
Right.
And spent about a week designing the exhaust systems. Wow. And they're both identical for both cars.
Okay.
And like I said, no failures. And you can imagine these exhaust systems, they grow 1.5 inches when the cars are hot.
Do they really?
And shrink 1.5 inches when they're cold.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine. I wouldn't know a number of what temperature they get to.
Yeah.
But when you think of starting them in Daytona and all the testing that we've done and all the racing that we've done, we're still racing with the same exhaust
system. Wow.
It's amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And are the systems catted? Is there a catalytic converter, or are you running open
they're
exhaust?
straight.
They're straight.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And obviously it must sound pretty good. We'll have to fire it up later.
Yeah, we definitely will.
And this is cool. This is a Pratt & Miller handle here. We just pull that out. There's all kinds of goodness in here.
Right. So fuel filler. Fuel filler changes depending on what track we're at from side to side to make fuel filling faster.
Okay, so you literally orient it one side or the other?
Right, yeah, there's 2 flanges that you can switch it over.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And is the fuel cell mandated size-wise for
It is.
Everyone runs the same size, or?
No, that's part of the BOP as well,
Okay.
the balance of performance.
And what else do we have back here? We've got the battery, we've got a fuel filter, and that's about it.
And one more PDM.
Okay.
And you also have the crossbar that holds on to the rear dampers.
Right.
And that's where all the adjustments can be made on the fly.
And carbon fiber trunk,
Yes.
carbon fiber doors,
Right.
carbon fiber hood,
Right.
all Pratt & Miller goodies.
All Pratt & Miller, all homologated by IMSA.
And all the other body panels are stock.
They are.
Steel. So what does it weigh, race weight? Do you know approximately?
3,500 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe just shy of 3,500 pounds.
So fuel and driver, you're probably up in the 3,900 range, something
Somewhere
like that.
around there, yeah. We're the heaviest car on the track.
Are you?
Yeah,
And that contributes to tire use and brake use and
absolutely. All of it. Yeah, and driver fatigue.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're constantly catching the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to complete our tour here, we're just under the rear end, and you've got 2 fans. Those are for diff and tranny.
That's right.
Those are your cooling fans.
Yep.
So there's a rad mounted above the fans, obviously.
Right. We're really limited at space, so we've got them there. There's no room up front. We don't want to take any more cooling away from the rad.
Right.
Because in the draft, we do see elevated temperatures.
True, yeah.
So this is the only place we had left. You've got your sump over here for the oil,
Okay.
so we couldn't put it there.
And the diff is a stock housing, but you've got a different
We've got an OS Geica, yeah, in the housing.
with
Yeah.
top secret lockup.
Top, yeah.
That's
It's,
a
I'm not allowed to. I don't even know. They don't even tell me. After hours they come in here and they put their smocks on and yeah.
Lots of black magic going on in there.
There is.
And obviously this is a different drive shaft.
Yeah, we had a little vibration problem in the car at the beginning of the year, and we finally got it sorted out in Sebring after a few attempts.
Just a vibration issue.
High speed, about top of 4th gear, about 130 miles an hour. We had a pretty substantial vibration. That's pretty much all eliminated now.
Awesome, okay. Well, thanks so much for showing us around, Anthony. This is a badass car, and you're going to the Glen this weekend.
We are.
You're going to test out the durability of both your machines.
That's right.
I hope it goes well. We'll be
Thank you
watching.
very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for your
man.
time.
Yeah, awesome.
Burnouts!